I want to discuss that debate between whether you should take a trade-in or not. I built this whole business prior to all the brand new stuff you see here, and it was primarily off of buying and selling used equipment off of Facebook Marketplace, so I really haven't been afraid of the trade. Now the thing that I battle ever since I've been at this commercial location is there's such an expectation level from a customer after you sell something that is used, and so we do sell everything with a 30-day warranty. Before it left my barn, and things could go wrong, and I would never hear about it afterwards. So the expectation level is so much higher, and that's what kind of gets us in this question, like, should you be taking trade-ins? Should you be trying to sell used equipment as well? I hear the debate that you shouldn't do this because it's gonna pull people away from that main brand that you sell. My opinion on that, at this stage of where we're at, is that it draws a customer to the store. So I like taking a trade-in because I do see probably a third of the time, maybe 25% of the time, someone does come for the used and they leave with the new. And then sometimes these people that are shopping at the new are actually a used customer buyer, okay? And after these people have bought used things from me, I've been in business at this location 3.5 years. I've been buying and selling used equipment for 5 or 6 years. Just the other day, I had someone that bought a used piece of equipment from me 4 years ago, and then they bought a brand new piece of equipment right now. So I really believe it draws tons of traffic to the store. When we're selling that brand new equipment, I'm looking at a margin of 17 to 23%. Not a very good margin, but on used equipment, there's a big margin. Now, there is that 10, 20% of the time that there's a comeback because something goes wrong. But if the margin's there and it's only happening in a small, part of that situation, I think it's well worth it to get that used equipment in and then ready for resale. So what does the art of that negotiation look like in a trade-in? I think when you're getting this trade, the margin has to be there. Take a piece of equipment like this. I don't know when you're watching this, what this could resell. This is an entry-level commercial Cub Cadet mower. I expect that we can sell this. It's only got 400 hours. I expect that we can sell this for at least $4,000, okay? It's gonna be able to sell for that kind of price because we're gonna go through it. We're gonna make sure that it's actually ready for sale. So how did the art of this negotiation go down? I think it's critical when you're trying to negotiate to always make the other person lay down that number first. Classic question that we ask here when people are trading something in is, what would you like for your trade-in? Did you have a rough idea what you wanted to get out of that trade? And everyone always says the same thing: I've got no idea. They have an idea. They have an exact number in their head. And so my belief is when you are forced to lay down that number, you have an idea in your head as well as what it's worth. Maybe you don't have any clue, the used equipment market, what it would sell for. If you type this in, like this model, for example, this is a Cub Cadet Pro Z, and it's a 60-inch zero turn. I could go right into the Google search bar and I could type Cub Cadet Pro Z for sale. And the first few listings that pop up typically on a mower is Tractor House. Tractor House will show where all the other dealers are listing this, okay? But even if so, if there isn't a clear result, you can go to Facebook Marketplace and you can type in that exact model, and the very lowest listing that you see, expect that it's selling for a little bit less than that. So there's some market research that has to go into that. But on this model, it's one that I've sold so many of that I have an idea where I can get. And my thought in my head is I can get 4,000 to 4,500. I've got a number in my head as to what that would go for. This had a slight running issue. I knew it had a fuel problem as it came in. And this customer did give that classic, I've got no idea what it's worth. And I came in, laid an unrealistically low number, and finally the customer came and gave me the real number that he was looking for, and he said $3,000. Now, my belief on resale is to tell the customer exactly what you think it will sell for, because you probably don't want to offend that customer, and it's my belief that you should walk them through exactly what you think you can get out of this. And I'll tell my customer that I think in an absolute worst case scenario world, I might only get $3,500 out of this. But I'll probably list this and sell it for $4,000 to $4,500. But I live, Mr. Customer, in worst case scenario worlds. So I've got to look at the worst case possibility. Maybe it's only $4,000 as the worst case, but there has to be enough money in there for me to make some money on that. So I like to kind of walk them through, and I can even put the ball in their court. What do you think would be fair for me to pay for this and be able to have money, to be made on this after the case? And that will sometimes get them to say a number. But when you force a number from them first, they may say a lower number than what's going on in your head, and there's just that much more margin that you can work with. And finally, the customer did come out and say what he wanted on this unit, and he said $3,000. I walked through the numbers with him from the $4,000 to $4,500. This had a slight running issue that was intermittent, and I knew it was a fuel related issue. And I said if it was in good running condition, I could see that, but I renegotiated to $2,500. We had to meet in the middle. This allows the brand new stuff to get sold, because what happens is when you say no to this customer's trade, they're gonna go out on the market and try to sell it. There is another dealer that is willing to pay for this, just like myself, right? And that's gonna be the difference with these customers on doing a deal with you. That's why I think it's critical that you go through and take used equipment on trade. Where did that negotiation finish? I think we finished around $2,700, $2,800, and it was a fuel pump. The fuel pump was actually on backwards, so something I think he tried to repair done wrong, and we have this for sale right now for $4,500. I expect that we can get at least $4,000 out of this, and hopefully up to that $45,000. And there's a nice meaty margin. Someone's gonna come in and buy this. Someone might be looking at a piece of equipment over here and they leave with this, or vice versa, they come in for this and go on the new. So if you look around, I've got a lot of used equipment that comes around, and right now, a lot of that comes on trade, and that will filter people to my store. So I would highly encourage you guys, take used equipment on trade. Hopefully some of that negotiation tactic helps you, and until the next one, we'll see you.